Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Golden Ratio Podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Hi.
How's it going, GR Dad?
Good.
Excellent, excellent. The cocktail of the week this week is the Shipwreck. It is coconut rum, amaretto, a.k.a. Di Serono, Sprite, and that's it. A little bit of lime juice squeezed on top.
I like Sprite.
Yeah, that's good.
Coconut and Sprite. That probably goes pretty well.
And amaretto, yeah. We don't. I don't have any Sprite here, which is why I didn't make it for us. But it'd be delish.
Delish.
All right.
Why is it called a shipwreck?
I don't know.
I was expecting something that would turn me into a shipwreck or sink me or break my timbers or put treasure inside of me.
Ooh, that's good.
Something more than just like Sprite.
Look.
It adds life.
I mean, the coconut
that's
rum.
Coke. That's Coke.
That's like kind of tropical, shipwrecky.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great name.
It's a great name.
I have no problem with the name.
Okay.
Okay.
We got a lot of stuff on the agenda.
Is there any administrative corner?
Like only a little bit. I just want to put this out. So I tweeted this week, Vink, your camping guide Vink. Yes, hello, I'm your camping guide Vink.
Yep.
And a bunch of people came in to be like, instead of posting this, you should be posting this other stuff. And I just want to tell people, don't tell me what to post on my channel.
Yeah. Don't tell anyone what to post on their channel. If you don't like it, post your own stuff. That's fine.
And look, I mean, I get that, like, we are a haven for, I have measured the statistics, primarily liberal people who believe in traditional liberal causes. Like, that's something like 98% of our audience is politically liberal. And that you're a place to come to deal with the crappy stuff that's going on in the world. That's what we're here for. That we are here to be a moment, to take a breath when you're kind of overwhelmed by all the badness.
Watch dogs do completely goofy stuff.
But like, we exist to give you a pause because it can't all be incandescent rage all the time because we can't live like that. So you come to us to be like, I need a moment to not have incandescent rage. And so what that means is that I'm not going to post stuff about Black Lives Matter protests. I got a bunch of this when, like, in the summer of 2020 when all the Black Lives Matter protests were going on. Obviously, like, we support the Black Lives Matter protests. We've donated a lot of money to, like, organizations around the movement. But you don't come to our page to hear about more bad stuff that's going on. You come to our page to take a break from being engaged in that. And this week, like, Vink helping with camping. She's helping with camping. I'm not posting your list of abortion resources. Everybody on Twitter knows where they can get that. They're not coming to our page for it. It's obviously not that we don't support that and are not suffering our own incandescent rage. That's just not what our page is for. And just because, like, we're politically aligned with people who are posting that stuff, don't come at me being like, Jen, you should really be a responsible ally and post this stuff. That's not what this is for, and it's not what people are here for. And I'm not doing it. I do it on my other accounts. I'm not doing it on the Golden Ratio account. It's not that we don't support it. It's that, like, there's a real valuable service in giving people a space to take a breath and not engage with that kind of content for a minute. And that's what we're for.
No. Time and place.
Don't tell me what to do.
Time and place.
Nobody tell me what to do. I don't like it. It's a fast way to get blocked.
There's some kind of reverse psychology opportunity here, but I don't think I'm smart enough to figure it out. There's something there. Anyway. I don't tell you what to do because I value my health. All right. That was Administrative Corner?
That's it. I mean, there's just not very much.
That was a good one. Yeah. I'm very happy with the Administrative Corner. Yes.
Okay. We got a lot of dog updates this week.
You keep saying that and it'll be like 5 minutes. 6 minutes tops.
I'm not even saying that as long. It's like a lot of the dogs are covered. Usually it's like 2 dogs that we have real updates for. I have updates for, I think, everybody except the Guacomane.
I usually have updates for everyone, but nobody wants to hear them, apparently.
No. Quite to the contrary, I don't want to hear them, but everybody else does.
Well, I can't tell you what to say.
No. So, okay. Dog updates. Let's start with Brody. Brody's elbow continues very slowly to heal because he is an old man.
He's slow. His healing is slow. Everything is slow about him.
It is so slow.
He's a good boy, though.
He is. He wants to lick the elbow, which is not good for his healing. He sneaks in licks anytime we have him uncovered. He's uncovered now, but I think he's sleeping. Can you see him, Ingo?
Yeah, I can see it. He's quite sleeping.
So we're tired of having him in the cone, and I had tried putting like the elbow pads on him, but they're not great at like staying in place. And so we have like a sleeve, like a surgical recovery sleeve, which is just kind of like jersey, like t-shirt material, which totally covers it. It doesn't slip out of place, but he just licks the sleeve
Until
and
it's
then
wet.
The sleeve is soaking wet, and then that's on his elbow that's trying to heal up.
So he wins.
And I was like, I'm going to defeat this system this weekend. I almost made Dear Dad spit out his drink.
Don't challenge Jen to a stubborn off.
So we have a few of these kind of waterproof-ish dog blankets. There are some that are like actually waterproof and have like a plastic bag kind of layer in the middle. These aren't those, but they're quite waterproof. And we don't use them for anything. Like we have different blankets for the couch. Like they have served purposes in their past, and it seems like we don't want to throw them out, but they just kind of sit around.
I think they were for other dogs with kidney problems and stuff.
Yeah. So I was like, well, we got some of these. I'm going to cut part of this blanket off and sew it as like a lining on the inside of the arm.
Such a good idea.
So I was like, well, I don't need to cover the whole inside of the arm. I can just do part. And of course, Brody then got the thing to swivel around. So the unlined part was over the thing. So then I was like, oh no. So I went in, I like
Round 2 of stubborn off.
added more lining. So now it's fully like fleece lined on the inside. And he still sometimes tries to lick the sleeve, but he can't get the thing.
It's wet on the outside, and he thinks he's won, but he has not won.
Dry on the inside.
It is continuing to heal. It's not the 2 steps back, 1 step forward kind of thing. I mean, he's been licking that thing all his life.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Poor
certainly
boy.
since that tumor's been there, which has been maybe most of the time we've had him.
Yeah.
He's had a raw spot on there for a long time.
Yeah, we always thought it was just because he was lying on it or scraped it on the cement or whatever, right?
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just impressed with my own ingenuity on that one.
I am too. It's
Thank
very
you.
impressive. Brody has mixed feelings because he's impressed, but it also comes at a cost to him.
All right. Nacho and Remy had a fight. You were not here. Where were you recently?
Downstairs, maybe? Was it just the
I
loudness?
don't think you were actually in the state.
What?
Were you out of state?
I picked up the car in
Yeah.
Maryland.
When did you get home with that?
I don't know. Today, yesterday,
It's all
3 years
sort of
ago.
blending together. I think
Friday. Didn't I come back Friday?
I think that's right. While you were in Maryland, Remy and Nacho had a fight. They were doing their normal kind of play fighting, and somebody got a hold of somebody else, and then that other person took exception, and they kind of went at it. And fortunately, I was standing right next to them, and extra fortunately, I had all the doors and windows closed because I screamed at them at the top of my lungs. I was like kicking feet out. I mean, because like, what do you like? They were on each other, and they were not letting. I mean, they were really going. And usually, me screaming if I just scream like a really loud at them, they will stop, and they were not stopping.
Oh, wow.
So I was just like screaming at them, kicking whichever dog was closest to me to try to get them to low. Didn't work. I had to pick somebody up. I think I picked up Nacho, and Remy still lunged at him and grabbed a mouthful of him while I was carrying Nacho to throw him out on the porch. So I carried Nacho, threw him out on the porch, picked up Remy, threw him in a different room, closed the doors, and I was like, everybody's just going to sit there for a minute.
Think about what you've done.
I mean, there was no damage. No skin was broken, no bleeding. Nobody seemed hurt. They were both kind of fine afterwards, but it was not good.
No. And that's scary for you, too, because you broke up a fight once and got bit.
You sure did.
By your own dog? Okay.
I stuck my hand in her mouth to keep her from biting somebody else. I did that. I've done that a second time, stuck my hand in the mouth
Recently?
of some dog. Yeah, recently. I did not stick my hand in anybody's mouth this time. They had mouthfuls of each other. I was just trying to I didn't kick them to do damage, but was hard enough to move them to be like, hey, get distracted from that.
Like
It
a
didn't work.
push with your foot.
Yeah. No, I ended up picking him up. And the only reason that I got Nacho off is I think he like let go to try to get a better grip. And it was not good. Fortunately, since then, like they both seem to have taken a lesson from it and have been way gentler. And we're also more careful, like as they start getting wound up, to step in and be like, okay, like everybody's going to shake that out and take a minute. Make sure like if one of them, Nacho's always into it. If Remy is like, like maybe not right now, to separate them out.
Yeah. Nacho he comes out of the gate. I mean, you open his
God.
crate in the morning and he just comes out sprinting and like starts to just roughhouse with Remy. And Remy, I think, often needs more time to warm up and get excited.
Yeah.
It's just like someone jumping on and biting him, which would irritate me too.
Yeah. So it's not a super stressful situation, because it's not like they have tension between them. Like it was just kind of an incident that got out of hand, but it was not fun.
Nacho's he's still really a puppy, but he's just giant for being
He's
a
so
puppy.
big.
Yeah.
95 pounds, man.
He's a big one.
All right. So then we have individual updates on both Nacho and Remy. Which would you like to do first?
Nacho alphabetically.
Okay. So Nacho had his vet visit right when we got him a few weeks ago. And our vet finally talked to the surgeon, who's the same surgeon that amputated Hopper's leg, about doing a TPLO on Nacho, and to fix his problem with his cruciate ligament, which he definitely has. Like we looked at the x-rays and you can tell that like one of his knees, like there's no space between the bones anymore.
Yeah.
Even though he seems kind of fine. He runs around, he swims, he doesn't limp. Like he walks a little stiff. There's something going on.
Yeah.
And obviously, he was given up for that, but we've got him on kind of decent pain management. He goes for walks twice a day. He goes for swims. He's never kind of limpy at the end. Like maybe he's a little slow, but that could just also be because we get him tired. So he's not really suffering with this condition. He's not in pain with his condition.
Mm-hmm.
Is eventually going to have to get fixed. And the surgeon was like, I'm not all that impressed with what's going on in these x-rays. Like it doesn't seem all that bad to me at this point. Our vet, she's like, he's like, we could sedate Nacho, do another set of x-rays where we can really kind of manipulate his legs, get way better pictures and send him off to a radiologist. And I was like, or we could not, because he's fine. Like eventually we're obviously going to have to do something about this, but like, why are we going to sedate him, put him out, take all these things, spend all this money on these x-rays when like he's living a perfectly fine, happy, pain-free life at this point with the pain management.
Yeah. And it's not like the first x-rays didn't show anything. They kind of showed that there is a problem, but we see his behavior and we're like, well, it's not acute right now.
Yep.
And so the x-rays are just going to confirm that they're going to say, oh, there's a problem. Well, okay.
But he still runs around,
Yeah.
like he runs around a lot and jumps and plays and swims and goes for walks and isn't having any problems. So like, we're going to have to do those x-rays when he eventually tears something.
Yeah.
We're not going to preemptively do surgery on him. And so let's just do the x-rays when he starts being uncomfortable and not do them before.
Yeah. I agree. If he shows any signs of limping or favoring it or whatever, then we take action. But right now it's just, I think let's just see. And it could be 6 months, right? It could be soon. But
that's right.
Okay.
It could be really soon. Sometimes these are things that like it's progressively is going to get slower. Voods was like that. Voods had a partial tear when we got him, and he definitely got worse limping on that knee until we did the surgery. And like we sort of forget how much he limped because his mobility sucked also after the surgery, but he didn't limp on it after the surgery. And I was watching snaps from, like when we got him, and I was like, wow, like he really limped quite a bit on that leg.
Yeah. He had a lot of things going on, but after the surgery, he had one less thing going on.
Yeah. So yeah, Nacho could progressively just have more problems with it, or he could jump one day and tear it, and then he's not going to put any weight on that leg, and then we do the surgery that day. Yeah, but like, why are you going to do surgery on a dog who's not having any disruptions, not any pain? Like, he's on an anti-inflammatory and gabapentin every day, and it keeps him pain-free. And so let's do that and let him keep having a good time until he needs something more serious.
Yeah, and the surgeon was on board with that. The X-rays were sort of an additional idea he had, but it wasn't like that would determine surgery either if he's otherwise okay.
Yeah, this is not us going like, well, we don't want to spend the money on him until it's time. This is like all the vets are like, so how about we not do anything until he's actually having problems?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
conservative,
that seems right.
Yeah, because there is always a risk, right? What if they don't get it right and it's, it makes it there's complications and stuff. I mean, no surgery is safer than surgery in terms of unknowns.
Yeah.
That was very badly said, but anyway.
I know what
surgery
you mean.
has risks.
Yeah, that's right. So that's the Nacho update. So that's pretty good news. Remy, on the other hand, so while Inga was in Maryland, I had all 3 dogs outside, and Remy swam over to the neighbor's house. And I had all 3 dogs. It's not like I wasn't watching him. I was standing there, and he swam over to the neighbor's house, and I was yelling at him. And
undeterred and undeterrable.
Yep. And he's like, no, I'm going over here. So I managed to get Nacho back in. And then I had this whole thing, like trying to get Nacho and Guac out of the water, locked into some containment unit somewhere downstairs, because I had to go get Remy, who is now wandering around in the neighbor's yard. The neighbors aren't there, but still. It was quite a fiasco, but I went over and I got Remy and I dragged him back home. And so when Ingo got back, I was like, Ingo, Remy is now escaping over to the neighbor's house, like pretty brazenly. Not like, oh, he snuck away when we weren't watching. Like, he walked away and I was like, Remy, get back over. And he was like, fuck you. No, I'm going to the neighbor's house.
And he just swims.
Does not care at all.
Doesn't even look around.
No.
Yeah.
So
I know this because
so he did it to Ingo also.
Sure did.
And I was like, okay, this happens. Ingo, no, let's not take out more than 1 dog. And they all were out there again and swam away. And I just looked out and Ingo's just standing there.
I was like, what the
away.
hell do I do? What am I supposed to do? Jump in and swim?
Paralyzed with like, there's a lot going on right now.
And Nacho was following Remy.
Yeah.
Hops was in the water, and I was just like, what now?
And I was like, do something about this. And
kayak,
he's
swim,
like, I don't know what to do. And I was like,
get him.
Get him.
So I ended up getting a kayak and seeing if I could catch him. If he was on the water,
which you couldn't because he was all the way at the end of the street, across the street, in somebody else's yard.
Yeah, he'd gone up someone's dock or boat ramp and was now wandering around the streets.
Yeah.
Well, the cul-de-sac street, but dead end street.
Yes,
yeah.
Remy is now on super double secret probation because he's done it 3 times. So now he has learned he can escape without consequence, basically.
Yeah.
So the consequence is he's not allowed to go out and swim with the rest of the dogs anymore. He has to be individually supervised.
And even the playing has to be. I can only have 2 dogs out.
Yeah.
I mean, he can play with Nacho, closely supervised, or he can, hang out and play with Guac, closely supervised, but not. I can't introduce Nacho too, because Nacho just kind of wanders off. Nacho loves the dock, and is quite comfortable going down the ramp by himself to hang out and look around,
and maybe swim away.
Yeah, he can be persuaded to come back with a ball at least if it's just him.
Yep.
Or if Guac's around, but he was just following Remy because Remy freaking was on some kind of mission.
Yeah.
Sad. You can't have nice things because you do bad things.
You're a bad dog, Remy. No, you're a good dog, but also bad.
But sometimes. You do bad things.
Okay. Hopper. We talked about her gross ear infection. We got the culture back from the gross ear infection, and she has 3 different microbes growing in there.
Poor dog's a science experiment.
And she has a yeast infection in her bits. So she's got funguses. She's got
yeasts.
Yeast. She's got bacterias, 3 different kinds of bacterias. And I was talking to the vet, and she's like, so these are the bacterias. Fortunately, none of them are MRSA. She's like, one of them only responds to like an oral antibiotic, not a topical. She's like, one of them responds to a topical, but is only available as an eye drop. So we may be able to give you the eye drops and then you can put them in her ears. She's like, I don't really know what to do.
Finding new ways, man. Just finding new ways.
So anyway, now she's on, the vet was like, what antibiotics do you have? And I was like, I got this one, this one. She's like, okay, like you can give her Simplicef. That'll take care of 2 of them, but it won't take care of the 3rd one. And I'm talking to the dermatologist to see if we have to put the eye drops in her ears. But apparently there's a triple antibiotic ear drop that will cover the one that's not covered by the oral antibiotics. So now she's on oral antibiotics and topical ear drops to address her ear infection.
And she's going to be on prednisone?
And they also want to put her on steroids to bring down the inflammation in her ears, but she can't start the steroids until she's been off of anti-inflammatories for 3 days, which she has been on carprofen for a while. She needs to be on it because she gets real sore. And so tonight we stopped the anti-inflammatories, and then on this weekend we will start the prednisone to also help with the ear infections. And then we got some wipes for her bits to deal with the yeast infection, and then hopefully the prednisone will help with the inflammation down there too.
She would be a whole semester's worth of lab. Like Hopper 102.
So much.
You can culture this, and you can probe this, and you can take a sample of this, and you can you can shave this, and you can do this. She's a freaking walking science experiment.
And she had a problem this weekend where, probably from swimming, but maybe from something else, she clearly pulled a muscle in her shoulder.
Yeah.
Which is real bad, because if she
only has one.
If she pulls a muscle in the back legs, it's real hard for her to get around. If she pulls one in the front leg, there's only one, and she cannot hold herself up.
Go ahead.
So, she was trying to walk and kind of tripping on her front leg, and then, trying to catch herself. I had to carry her around a bit. Dear Dad, of course, was not here for this. And
what do you mean, of course?
I had to carry that dog. I mean, she's lighter than the
what
other
do you mean,
dogs.
Of course, I was not around for this.
It would have been more convenient to have you to help with the carrying. That's all.
I love carrying her.
That's all I mean.
Yes. I love carrying any and all dogs.
Yeah. I'm not saying like you were avoiding it. I'm just saying like, man, a dog needed to be carried, and the guy who likes to carry dogs was not here. Just my luck.
Just my luck too.
So I actually had called the emergency vet, and I was like, I don't think I need to bring her in because she just has a pulled muscle. Here, I have given her the medicines that we normally give for that. Is there anything else? And the vet called me back, and he's like, I think those things are good, but we got this new like therapeutic laser. You should come in and do the therapeutic laser. And I was like, great. We've done therapeutic laser. Some of the dogs it's really helped. Some it hasn't. And when I talked to the vet about it, she's like, I've had like non-impressive results with lasers before, but we got this new laser, and the new laser is really amazing. And Dear Dad, what are you doing? You're making content as we're podcasting, making other content.
Graphic design is my passion.
Taking pictures of Guac. It is funny. Guac's asleep with the blow eye in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So anyway, she's very impressed with the new laser. And so apparently there's like a protocol for orthopedic laser treatments. It's like 3 times in the first week, and then I think it's twice a week for 2 weeks. And then it's like once a month or something.
Yeah, we're still in the 3 times.
Yeah. So you have been taking her to the laser treatments.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, the laser, I thought it'd be like a MRI or something where it's this giant, loud machine.
Yeah, no.
But it's actually like a little bit bigger than an old CD Discman.
Very dated reference there.
And it has
you have to have been alive for like 4 specific years
if
to
you know,
have used a
you
Discman.
know. It's not huge, and then it has like a wand attached to it that has the laser, and then you put on laser blocking sunglasses, and it just heats up their bits, I guess. Their whatever you're aiming it at. Yeah.
Yeah, does stuff. I don't really know how therapeutic lasers work.
But it has a little screen. It has a little picture of a dog, and it shows you where to put the wand.
Yeah. And
shows you how many passes to make, and it tracks it pretty well. It's kind of like a video game, but there's an actual dog at the other end. But, it's fairly sophisticated.
Yeah.
And yeah, according to the vet, this one really works a lot better than the other one that she used to have.
So that would be great because we got to keep Hops moving.
It was funny because she does like the hips. She's like everything that might be needed.
Yeah,
you know. But then she
good.
also felt Hopper's shoulder yesterday and was like, "Oh no, that does feel warm and tight." I mean, she clearly has pulled something. We'll do the shoulder and then she does the elbow. And today I was like, "Are we getting the right shoulder?" And they kind of looked at me and I was like, "She only has one shoulder, doesn't she?" We should, because she was lying on her shoulder, right? All right.
Oh, you didn't tell me that part.
Are we sure? Is she on the shoulder that we need to? And they're like, "No, there's only one shoulder. This is the one. This is it." They were nice about it, but I was like, "Oh, yeah, obviously."
Oh, that's good. So that's Hop. She's getting her stuff treated. Her little hole has healed up from her abscess though, so she can go swimming again.
Yeah, her hair's
nice.
growing back. She's getting fluffier again.
Yep. The final bit of dog updates is, all right, so Vink is obsessed with the iguanas, and the iguanas are big that live in our house. Well, I mean, they don't live in the house. They live in our property.
Yeah, they're smaller than Vink, but not by much.
If you measured head to tail,
Oh, yeah.
about the same size as Vink,
I
some of them.
think that's right.
Yeah. Body, definitely smaller. But they weigh like a good 30 pounds, those iguanas. Depending on the size. There's like juveniles that are tiny.
I wonder. I mean, maybe they're more like birds, where they're like hollower.
I don't know. I mean, I saw
little
one fall off a tree
dinosaurs.
once, and it seemed to make like a big thump. Anyway, they're big-ass iguanas. The body part's a good 2 feet long, like not counting the tail. They're big. And they hang out in the yard by the fruit trees, which is like right at the bottom of the stairs. So she oftentimes in the day will like go to the front door and be like, meef, meef. And you let her out and she stands at the top of the stairs, real alert, looking down for the iguanas that are in the yard by the fruit trees.
Yep.
And then if she sees one, she kind of hurls herself down the stairs.
There's no bunny hop. It's full on just launch.
Yeah. And chases them, and they always like run under the fence or run up the tree. Once she chased one along the fence and it jumped into the water until this last week. She went down those stairs and she got between the iguana and the water, and the iguana headed for the water, and Vink caught the iguana.
In her mouth.
In her mouth, big open mouth with an iguana in it. I, of course, was horrified. I did not want her to catch the iguana. And I was like, Vink! And like that was enough to get her to just loosen her mouth, and I'm sure the thing was like freaking out in
wiggling and scratching,
that she dropped it, and they chased each other back and forth because she was between it in the water, so it kind of ran towards the front yard and she'd run a little bit and then it would run towards the back yard and she'd be like, no, I cut you off here, back and forth, and eventually it just darted past her
into the water,
and they swim super fast.
Oh, they're like snakes.
Yeah.
Underwater. Yeah.
And so Vink, of course, jumped in the water after it, but she couldn't see it, so she just swam around in circles. So it would not come.
Yeah, it was
I had to get a stick, like a branch that had fallen off of our gumbo limbo tree, and poke her with it to try to get her to get over here. Stop it.
That's why that stick is there.
That's why that's there. I was poking Vink with it because she wouldn't listen to me. She's like, "Where's the iguana?" And I was like, "Get over here, poke."
Don't bother me with this stick thing. Don't worry, it's not an iguana. This is like the greatest day in Vink's life.
Nothing will ever be as exciting for her as that day.
Unless it's breakfast or waffles or any other meal, but short of a food, she had an iguana in her mouth.
Yep,
that's epic.
Big ass iguana,
That's
not a little
epic.
baby one.
And as kind of we would have predicted, didn't know what to do with it.
Yep, that's exactly right.
What happens when the dog catches the car?
Yeah,
that's great, but that's why she's so excited now. Still.
Oh yeah, now she's like, now I can catch him.
I could do it again.
So that's that. Oh, and this wasn't on my list, but Brody's birthday is tomorrow. So we're recording on Tuesday. Tomorrow is Brody's 12th birthday.
Big old man.
Good job, CBGB. He's slowing down, but he's still chomping on his pizza slices.
Still enjoys a pizza slice, still rolls on his back until he sneezes.
Yep. So that's it for dog updates.
These were good ones. Good ones.
Yeah, it was pretty extensive this week, I think.
Yeah.
All right, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories under ramblings.
This is the best day ever.
I'm thinking maybe we put some of these in a bonus podcast for the super followers and don't do all of them on the regular podcast.
I don't know. I don't know these stories. I'm not the person to ask about these strategic choices because I'm choosing blind. Just pick some good ones for pizza.
All right. I'm gonna pick one. We'll save the other ones for the super follower podcast.
All right.
Which you can get if you super follow us or if you follow us on Patreon. It's actually easier to get the podcast if you follow us on Patreon, but whatever. It's the same for us. All right. So a few people have suggested this week, they're like, it would be better at Wimbledon is if they had golden retrievers fetching the balls instead of people. Oh, my friends, it has been tried. The Daily Star in the UK says, bid to replace Wimbledon ball boys with dogs flopped as they didn't return them.
Well, that's a guac problem.
Tennis chiefs decided humans were quicker than dogs in returning tennis balls because the pooches demanded treats before they would drop the balls after collecting them. A bid to replace Wimbledon ball boys and girls with trained dogs flopped when the pooches refused to give the balls back. A nearby local tennis club tried to teach the mutts to fetch stray balls and return them at lightning speed, but though they hurtled after them, the hounds refused to drop them and had to be bribed with treats. Tennis chiefs decided humans were quicker. The experiment was conducted at Wilton Tennis Club, where the pooches underwent a series of speed and agility tests, including running up and down the court and high jumping over the net.
Oh,
that would
nice.
make Wimbledon way better.
Yeah, no kidding.
So at our house in Maryland, we live kind of just around the corner from a little neighborhood park, and it has a tennis court in it.
Hard top.
Mm-hmm. With a big, tall fence around it. So it's just a single court. And you can't really make reservations. A lot of the county courts you can reserve for a particular time, but this is just show up there and play. And if you were a real tennis person, it would be annoying because a lot of times there's kids in there riding their bikes around and stuff. And
or us.
Well, I'm getting to us. But I mean, we've showed up times before where there's 5 kids and their tricycles, and it's we're gonna play tennis in here.
People
you got to
do
kick
use
them
it
out.
like a big kid cage.
Yeah.
It's got because it's fenced all the way around, so you can just if you close the door, your kids will stay in there.
I mean, there's a playground literally next to the tennis court.
Oh,
There's
wow.
tennis court and then a little paved strip path and then playground. But so Ingo and I would go play tennis, and we would bring Hopper with us and close the gate, and then Hopper would just be there while we're playing tennis. So we're playing a regular game of tennis, but Hops would try to get the ball. So I'd be serve the ball, and she'd run over to Ingo's side, and then he'd return the ball. She'd run over to my side. And if Hopper ever got the ball, she got the point.
Yes.
So sometimes it would be 15 for me, 30 for GR Dad, 15 for Hops.
Oh yeah, totally. 'Cause she would sometimes jump and intercept it,
she
very
absolutely
rarely.
tried to
But
get it.
I think at least more than once she actually intercepted it in mid. I mean,
Yep.
neither of us are pros, so we don't hit it 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But she would grab it.
Yes. Yeah. So she never won a game. She definitely interfered many times. It's a much more difficult game of tennis with the dog involved.
And she also didn't want to give it up. I mean, that was sort of a lost ball for us for a little while. She'd carry it
Oh,
around.
yeah. We'd bring a fresh can every time, so we always had 3 because she would, and they'd be real soggy by the end because
Yeah, you
get all of them.
but it's good because you can see if the ball's in or out because it leaves a wet mark for all those disputed calls that we had.
I think it's an underrated part of tennis is just having a dog as part of the game. And
I have a
points.
comment on this story too. They obviously weren't trained well. You can train dogs to give up the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And who are these tennis chiefs? What's a chief?
I don't know much about tennis.
I think it's just a made-up term. This is the chiefs of this tennis club or something.
Well,
Also, were they using mutts or were they using golden retrievers?
there's a picture of a golden retriever.
That's not a mutt.
Wimbledon bosses were urged to consider using canines instead of kids, says the thing. And it's got a golden retriever. They're wearing 2 little sweatbands on their arm.
Oh, well, that's official.
Arms.
That's because they're officials.
And it's sitting in a tennis court, and it's got a tennis ball in its mouth.
I think they didn't follow through with this. This is my complaint with Wile E. Coyote too. Don't just try everything once until it fails once. Fix that one point of failure, and then you can do it.
There is a read more suggestion in kind of the middle of this article with the headline, "Stunning former Wimbledon star posed nude and she admitted my legs are the best part." Should we click on this?
No, that has nothing to do with
Clicking on it.
dogs. That has nothing to do with dogs.
How do you know? What she
Because
has on her OnlyFans.
no dog is a Wimbledon thing.
Oh. I was gonna say, there she is, and she's just wearing like a pretty modest red dress, but then she's naked. But then it's on ESPN magazine.
Oh, it's the body
cover.
issue.
Yeah.
So she's not showing anything. What's her name? Who is that? Wimbledon star, not
Daniela Huntuchova.
Wimbledon.
Took the brave decision to bare all for the camera. Oh, when she was on the cover of ESPN's Body Issue. They made it sound like she had an OnlyFans.
No, this is
No,
like
she's just
legitimate thing that athletes do. Male athletes do it too.
Yeah, I know. That's good.
Well,
That's fine.
Oh.
Okay. Anyway, there you go. We'll save the other 4 or 5 of those and do them on a bonus pod for the Patreons and super followers.
dog stories, not Wimbledon
They're
star.
all dog related.
Daniel Hanchova.
There's no other tennis related ones as far as I know.
Okay, I'm in.
Do you want to do German word of the week or taste of the keys?
German word of the week to alternate because you've talked a lot. Maybe you should rest your tongue.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let it hang out like nacho. Blah. Like a big slab of meat. That's attractive. The word of the week is, I think we've talked about some of this before, but Spargelschälmaschine.
Ah, that's so good.
Somebody sent or added me in a picture that they have in a German grocery store right now, where it's a free asparagus peeling machine. Because if you get the white asparagus, you have to peel it like along its length, right? You don't just have to chop the ends off or anything. You have to actually peel the outside off because it's kind of woody. And so they have a machine in this grocery store, and maybe this isn't unique, where you just put it in there and it peels it off for you. Spargelschälmaschine.
It's pretty good.
And it's right in line with because I was just in Germany, a month ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. And it was still asparagus season, white asparagus season. So I had some Spargel with melted butter and pretty much a lot of melted butter. Anything that's a vehicle for melted butter, it's going to be good.
I mean,
And it's delicious. So Spargelschälmaschine.
That's pretty good. I hate like peeling vegetables like with a peeler, the normal kind of.
Yeah.
Like
And I mean, if you don't want to use too much because it's like precious asparagus.
You lose
right?
the Spargel then.
You use the Spargel. Like if you peeled potatoes too much, you lose
I don't peel potatoes.
precious potato. I've heard there's
Tell
a
your mom.
big cultural divide there.
All right.
Yeah, there's my German word.
Spargelschälmaschine.
Yep. For Spargelzeit.
Spargel, it means
Spargelzeit.
Spargelzeit. I think we've done that as German word of the week.
I think we have, or we've at least talked about the fascination Germans have for their white asparagus.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like the green. Okay. This Taste of the Keys it's just a little one. It's just a tweet by our friend Gwen Filosa.
Yeah.
This Keys dog was safely taken into custody by the Monroe County Sheriff after running around like a lunatic for an hour amid traffic and also diving into a canal. The dog is, quote, awaiting court on a charge of being a rascal, a sheriff spokesman said.
A rascal.
And it's got a picture of like this sheriff's deputy with this cute dog.
Old looking dog, like a white-faced old dog.
This is an ancient old man of a dog.
He's not running around like a lunatic fast. Maybe he was running around like a drunken lunatic.
He's kind of a blackish dog. They said he's a Weimaraner. He maybe is like a Weimaraner lab mix.
He's a cut rate Weimaraner.
Yeah, it doesn't. I would never have said that was a Weimaraner.
No.
But he's like mostly black. He's
TJ
got like,
Maxx Weimaraner table. He's like, if you go there, the grab bag Weimaraner table. Go ahead.
He's got a real salt and pepper face, and like white tips on his toes.
Yeah,
He's
that's
a real
not
old
Weimaraner. They don't have white tips on their anyway.
No. Anyway, he looks real good. He was reunited with his owners because I was like, I'll take that dog, but his owners came and got him.
He was running around on like Route 1, wasn't it? I mean, it's like this is the major road.
I don't know. I guess if it's a mid-traffic, it has to be on Route 1. There's no traffic
It's
anywhere else. And then it jumped into a canal.
to elude police.
I mean,
He was
Remy
charged
would do
with
that.
resisting arrest.
Yeah. Well,
Remy and Nacho would just jump in.
he looks pretty good here, so.
Oh,
There
they're
you go.
taking good care of him. I mean, good for the, again, good for the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. They seem like they're reasonable guys.
Yeah.
And women officers, deputies.
Indeed. All right. I think that's it. Oh, no. Hang on a second. Hang on. All right. Before we move on to the end from Taste of the Keys, someone had said, and your comment just reminded me of this. Someone's like, wouldn't it be a thing if Gwen Filosa wrote about Deputy Hradecki? Just like people that they don't know, they've only heard
Like
it from the podcast.
One hero writing about another hero.
And so I was like, Gwen reports on the Keys. I bet she's got some story with Deputy Hradecki. And so I searched, and there is indeed a story from 2018 by Gwen Filosa that includes Deputy Hradecki.
But it's not about him. It's not like...
Well, he's in it.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, it's not like a profile of him. It's just he's in it.
Yeah.
So this is the July 24th, 2018 Miami Herald story by Gwen Filosa. The headline is, "A man calls 911 to say this, deputies are idiots."
That's not an emergency, sir.
A Chicago man visiting the Keys made some bad calls when dealing with police. Gary Christian, 56, called 911 early on July 22nd and told dispatchers, quote, "Sheriff's deputies are idiots," according to the arrest report. Monroe County deputies said Christian had called 911 earlier to demand a ride home from the Marathon restaurant where he had been kicked out for being drunk and disorderly, reports state. Deputies responded to the Marathon Ale House on Overseas Highway at 12:36 a.m. to find Christian, who approached them and said, "What the fuck is going on?"
He said that to the deputies? That's what deputies should be telling him.
A deputy called for a cab and thought Christian was on his way, but that didn't work. Quote, "Gary was subsequently brought back to the ale house after being belligerent to the cab driver," Deputy Corbin Hradecki wrote in a report.
He tried to be super nice. He called the guy a cab.
Yep.
He didn't give him a ride in a police cruiser.
Alehouse employees tell deputies Christian was outside disturbing customers and they wanted him cited for trespassing. When told this, Christian reportedly said, quote, "I'm a millionaire. I own 3 separate properties on Cocoa Plum. I'm going to sue all of you."
Oh, my goodness.
Told he had to leave or be arrested for trespassing, Christian walked outside on the sidewalk and said he was no longer on the property. "Come arrest me. Fuck you," he said, according to the report.
What a nice man. He sounds nice.
Christian began walking north of the restaurant and deputies left. An hour later, Christian called 911 to say he needed a ride home from deputies who met him at 69th Street and told him not to call 911 again. At 2:25 a.m., Christian called 911 to tell operators deputies are idiots and he was going to sue the sheriff's office, police said. He was arrested and charged with misdemeanor use of the 911 system. And if this were in Conk Life, it would say he was taken to jail.
If it were my newsletter, I'd say he was arrested for being a dumbass.
Yeah, he
I
sure
mean,
was.
come on. He could have just taken that cab home and just vented it home, right?
At one of his 3 houses that he has, apparently.
He's a millionaire. Ugh.
There you go.
Anyway, that makes Hradecki look even better.
Call him a cab.
Yeah, he didn't arrest him. He
Nope.
didn't rough him up. He just was like, you seem like a frustrated old man. I'm going to call you a cab.
Well, there you go.
Excellent.
So
it's all coming together. Our
it's
little
like
world.
Taste of the Keys and then like vintage Taste of the Keys.
Yeah, I mean, this is just another sign that there's not that many people in the Keys.
Yeah.
There's only a few people, and they all connect in weird ways. Like, I keep seeing the same car. Like,
oh, yeah.
we see that shark
That one
car
with,
all the
like,
time.
the black hood.
But there's also that hammerhead one that has
Mhm.
like a leg sticking out the front.
Yep.
You just see it all the time. It's very small.
It's a little place.
It's small.
All right. I think that's it for this week.
If you say that, I'm not going to disagree because I value my health.
Well, until next week, everyone, Slava Ukraini, and don't put anyone unless they ask you to.
That's right. Whatever she says.
Bye.
Bye.